Okay, so in this video, we're going to be talking about outsourcing and some of the ways that you can use that inside of your business. And I know that we've been talking a lot about Fiverr and ways that you can become a top seller on Fiverr and expand your business on there. And this is also we're going to touch on that just a little bit in this course as well. But mostly we're going to be focusing on how to outsource and how to delegate your tasks. So let's go into that right now. First of all, what is outsourcing? It can be sometimes referred to as contracting out services, and it's a business practice that companies use to reduce their costs or improve their efficiency. And there's lots of different ways that you can outsource, and there's lots of different things that you can outsource. And we will be diving even deeper into that in this video. So commonly outsourced industries would be things like product manufacturing, customer service, IT support, human resources or human relations, marketing and public relations, as well as graphic design and video and things of that nature. Now, some of the benefits of outsourcing, outside, of course, of saving you time and energy, are also reducing your business costs, which can also lower labor costs, can lower taxes. You can also reduce your energy costs and your reproduction costs, as well as, like we mentioned, saving time and energy. Even more benefits of outsourcing are things like lowering business costs in order to, and being able to focus more on the offerings that your business offers, which allows you to devote more time and resources to what you do well. It also can allow you to outsource those things that maybe your company doesn't specialize in. Maybe you don't know much about security or IT support. So you can outsource those things to companies that specialize in those tasks so that you're not wasting your time learning those things. You can simply outsource it to someone who already knows and who does those things well. And that will help you improve your efficiency and also increase your competitiveness within your market. It'll also help you increase your profit margins by running a more streamlined and efficient business. So those are just a lot of the benefits, the main benefits of outsourcing things to other companies and other people. So when it comes to Fiverr, 75% of the buyers on there are small to medium business owners, which means those are people that are looking to outsource small micro tasks to you and things that you can fulfill for them. Some of the disadvantages of outsourcing are things like third-party companies. Obviously when you're working with another company to outsource, you need to manage them. So that is one extra thing that you'll have to do. There's also negotiating and signing of contracts that will need to be done, which does require time and involvement as well. And then, of course, you have the day-to-day communications and overseeing any work that is being done, because you want to make sure that the quality is up to par with something that you would be okay with putting your company name on. Even though you may not be the one doing the service, it's still going to be represented. Your company is still going to be represented. So those are some of the disadvantages of outsourcing. Some other disadvantages are things of security, because the relationships that you make with these companies sometimes, depending on what the services may be that you're getting fulfilled, especially if it has anything to do with sensitive data or proprietary information like trade secrets or other confidential information. So security may be an issue when it comes to things of that nature, especially within the sectors of IT support, sometimes marketing or human relations or public relations. A lot of times security may be an issue there, where you may have to sign an NDA or other types of contracts so that there's no possible way where the person that you are hiring to outsource is going to be leaking out any of that info. And if that ever did happen, then of course you could sue them and take them to court for that. So that is just another small but serious disadvantage of outsourcing. Now, when we talk about the needs in outsourcing or delegation, trust, honesty, and communication are obviously the three main things that need to be in place. So when it comes to hiring a company or a freelancer to help you in your company, obviously you have to be able to trust them. You have to know that they're going to be honest with you, and open and clear communication is absolutely key for both you and them. So you have to believe in the people that you're delegating to. They have to be honest with you, and you have to be honest with them. And you also want to be open and clear on what your expectations are so that everyone knows. And you do need to be very clear and articulate what you need done. So that way, you want to make all of those things clear up front before signing any contracts, because what can happen sometimes is if these things are not dealt with up front, after a contract is signed and you get a business in there and you're working with someone, they may not be able to fulfill exactly on what you need, and that would be a huge issue and a time waster for both you and them. So make sure that you know what you need done and that you're able to clearly articulate that to them so that they can let you know if they're able to meet that or not meet that, and then you can interview from there. And of course, all of this, the whole thought and process behind outsourcing and delegation is the mindset. And what we want our mindset to be is to work half as much and increase our income by at least 4 times. That's the whole successful mindset that we want to have when we're running any type of business, whether it be Fiverr, whether it be a freelancing business that you have, or whether it be a larger business, offline or online. This is the mindset that you want to have. Work half as much and increase your income by at least 4 times, because that is going to make you more efficient, more proficient, and it's going to help your company and ultimately you as a provider become more competitive within your market and be able to stick out more. So, and of course, it's going to make you more money, which is going to make you more successful. So with that being said, just a few quotes from very successful entrepreneurs. The first rule, and this is by Athena Turner, the first rule of management is delegation. Don't try and do everything yourself because you can't. And I think that is great advice, because a lot of us, especially as entrepreneurs or people who are starting online, we may not have a lot of funds to be able to divvy out and hire a bunch of people. However, with that being said, we also are going to be pressed for time. And in the age of the internet, time is money. And so every day that goes by, we could be earning money or we could be losing money depending on how we use our time. So we want to make sure that we know what needs to be done and we're finding the best people to do the job well. If I am trying to run a business, I don't want to have to wear a dozen different hats, because that's going to be super inefficient. If I have to, make sure that payroll, that my employees are getting paid, and that the marketing is getting done efficiently, and that my customers are happy, and that I also have to reply back to emails and phone calls, there's no way that I, as one person, could manage all of that and be successful in managing all of that at once. There's not enough time in the day, right? We only have 24 hours to get things done. So we have to be, and that's not even accounting for sleep and rest and food. So, we basically have 12 hours out of a day to be productive, and we have to choose wisely how we're going to use those hours. When we choose to outsource and delegate, that helps us leverage our time and our energy to be able to do what we do best, and then give others the opportunity to do what they do best, and we all work together to create a better business and a more efficient and successful business. And I loved this quote so much because it really puts into perspective what delegation is and what outsourcing means. You run a major risk when you assume that you alone have all the answers. You don't. And that's okay. You don't have to be afraid to admit there are certain things that you either don't like to do or aren't any good at doing. And you can reach a goal by covering all your bases, and you cover all your bases by hiring good people. And that is so incredibly powerful and so true. A business is basically built up of the people that are in that business, right? That is what a company is. So a company is really no better than the employees that it hires. And you want to make sure that, first of all, you know your strengths and weaknesses as a business owner. So that way you know, okay, I'm not good at running the numbers, so I need to make sure I hire an accountant or someone to do the payroll who is excellent with numbers and who can make sure that we are always meeting the goals that we need to, and that nothing is being left behind or we're not skipping over anything, right? Or maybe technical support is not your thing and you just don't understand how that works. Then you need to get someone in there who can help you technically with your IT support or your marketing or your website, whatever it may be. That's going to help you cover all your bases and make sure that you're running an efficient and productive business. So as we have covered that, let's dive into now, when is the right time to delegate or outsource these tasks? When there's a lot of work to manage, which is almost in any business. So with that being said, like, delegation is just always something that you should have at the forefront of your mind. How can I take this off my plate? How can I find the right person who will fill this position and be able to do it well? And not only that, but try to find someone who actually enjoys the task and who is particularly good at that task, because then it will be easy for them, they'll enjoy it, and they'll get the task done so much faster and quicker than you ever could if you had to go and learn the skill, master the skill, and then implement it in your business. Another good time to delegate is when you come across a staff member or a company that specializes in a certain skill or task that you need. That's a great time. Let's say that you have someone in your company who has been working with you for a while and they've expressed an interest in taking on more responsibility. That would also be another good time to delegate, which you can see there. And of course, another good time to delegate or outsource tasks is when a staff member would benefit from doing the task. Let's say they're an emerging leader or a manager, especially if they're a manager. You want to make sure that you have people in these managerial positions who are able to communicate well with all of your employees and be able to express what the expectations are. And of course, you also want to be pushing them slightly. And what I mean by that is giving them some responsibilities that are maybe just a little bit over what their comfort level is. So go ahead and delegate some of these tasks to them and see how they're able to handle that, because that's going to help them grow as an employee, and it's going to be able to help them learn the skills that they need, see if they're able to manage it well. And then if they are, that allows you to be able to open up your plate a little bit more and free up some more of your time and energy. So some of the good things that you can delegate are things like graphic design work, video training or video production, typing, writing, transcribing, any of those things, or data entry. Of course, answering emails, phone calls, etc. And lots of marketing tasks can be delegated successfully as well. Things like web design or SEO, paid advertising, social media, you name it. All of those things are very easy to outsource. And even with this list that you see here, all of these things can be actually delegated and outsourced on Fiverr. So whether you're running a business or whether you actually are a freelancer on Fiverr and you need a little help in your freelance business, you can actually go and hire people on Fiverr, other freelancers, to help you with these tasks. Like I've mentioned earlier in this course, when it comes to your gig covers and maybe even your gig videos, you can outsource that if you'd like. I've done that before in the past and it's worked really, really well. So when not to delegate your tasks, because there are certain things that, and certain times that delegation is not appropriate. And let's just cover what some of those things are together. First of all, anything that is confidential or sensitive in nature or is an emergency, that is not appropriate to delegate to someone else. That needs to be handled by you because it's just very personal. And who knows what all of the outside details may be surrounding these things. So if it's something super duper important, don't delegate it off. Make sure that you take that responsibility and make sure that you see that through and that it gets done. One quote that I really like is that you can delegate tasks, but you can't delegate responsibility. And that's really important to notice and keep in mind. And just a quick story, as an SEO provider, and I've been doing that for the last 8 years now, I can definitely tell you that there are a ton of SEO companies out there who don't follow that motto. They delegate everything. And I was actually so surprised when I got into the SEO industry and actually started my own firm, because we had way bigger companies, like way bigger marketing and SEO companies who would approach my company to be able to outsource to us, like so that we were the ones fulfilling on all of their SEO work. And we were a way smaller company. We only had 10 employees. And these were companies that had 20, 50, 100 employees, and they were outsourcing to us. So, and kind of the mindset I think that they were getting into is, how can we just get a bunch of money and not do any of the work? And that is not the whole idea behind delegation, because you're still responsible for the work. You are still responsible for these things being done properly. But your job when you're delegating as a good manager or a good boss is to make sure that you're putting the right people in the right places so that everything can work faster and more productive and more efficient. The goal is not to not take responsibility or to not have to do the work. So that's just a mindset thing that I wanted to kind of display to you guys and get that across. Another time not to delegate is when, and this is what I mean, when it's your specific responsibility. So if you are a marketing company and someone is coming to you and they've interviewed you for the job and they want you to do their marketing, you probably shouldn't outsource that work. The reason being, especially if you are charging a couple $1,000s a month for the service. And that comes with a little bit of pain inside me because, like I said before, I was having huge companies that were getting paid $5,000, $10,000 a month for SEO services, and they were only paying me like $500 a month. So after I started learning that, I did a few things differently. But the main thing I want to get across to you guys is that if it's your specific responsibility to carry through with something, make sure that you do it. And not that you have to do the work yourself every single time, but you need to make sure that whoever you do get to do the job is going to do the job really well, and they're going to do the job better than you ever could. So that's my rule of thumb. When you choose to delegate tasks that were assigned to you, make sure that you know that this person's quality is going to be way better than anything that you could deliver, and that they're going to be able to get the job done on time and without hassle. Another time not to delegate is when the person that you want to delegate to does not have the tasks or knowledge to perform those services or tasks. That's just getting into hot water. And I know when you are first starting out, this may be a little bit of an issue because you may be pressed for time and you may want to simply delegate to someone within your company and just go, here, so-and-so, you get this done. I know you may not know how to do this yet. Look it up and just get it done. That's probably not the best way to go about it. At least you want to have a little bit of knowledge and know-how of what is involved to fulfill on the task before you go ahead and delegate it. You don't want to delegate something that you don't know what is required to fulfill that task without knowing. Now, the one rule around that is if you're hiring another company that specializes in that service or that task, because obviously they know what they're doing. They've done it many times before and it's their specialty. So they're going to be able to do it without too much hassle at all. But again, if you know that John in accounting doesn't have the skills to be able to implement your IT system, don't ask him to do it and don't even ask him to help. You need to find someone who is specialized in IT who can do that job for you. Another time not to delegate tasks is when it requires technical skills or knowledge. What I mean by that are things like sales. You would never want to, and now there is a rule of thumb, but hold on just for a moment. You don't want to outsource anything where people need specialty knowledge of what you have and what you know to be able to fulfill. So, for example, like I said, if you are in sales, you cannot delegate that to someone else. You can hire a sales team or a company to help you with that. Like they have, call centers and people that are specialized in making sales over the phone or whatever it may be. But then again, those people are trained in that technical skill or knowledge. You have to make sure that they are trained in the skill or knowledge that you are outsourcing. You don't just want to hire anyone willy-nilly. So, that being said, anything, again, that is sensitive or personal in nature, do not delegate. If you, need someone to go through and insert all of your photos into your website, make sure that it's only photos that are supposed to be on your website. You don't want to have them have to go through your whole entire computer and pick out what's supposed to be on there. That would be inappropriate, right? So, another thing, you don't want to delegate things like consulting services unless you are flat out hiring a consultant to come on board with your company and be able to help you out with that. You wouldn't want to hire someone off of Fiverr to do consulting for you just because it's affordable and you don't want to do it. That would be a terrible reason to hire someone. Another thing you don't want to delegate is staff training. Again, all of these things could be outsourced, but you're going to pay more because you're hiring a specialized expert who knows staff training and can do that well. You don't want to just hire a freelancer to do these things. So that is my rule of thumb there. And again, we've talked about sales. And basically any service that you specialize in as a company should not be outsourced. Just like I mentioned with the SEO companies, and that's why a lot of SEO companies have had a bad reputation, is because so many of them are known for not even doing the work that they promised their customers. So any services that you specialize in as a company, you should be fulfilling. Anything that you do not specialize in, seek to outsource to either a freelancer or another company. So with that being said, to simplify your day, I know we are all pressed for time in this day and age. It just seems like the days fly by like that. So a few daily tasks that you can outsource to a virtual assistant would be things like answering emails, phone calls, checking your messages, etc. Now, when I say a virtual assistant, that means, you can hire them off of Fiverr, off of Freelancer, Upwork. There's a lot of different freelance websites where you can find good virtual assistants. But I am mostly talking about freelancers. I'm not really talking about outsourcing to companies in this particular slide. You can also outsource any type of social media engagement. I know that takes up a lot of time, and it's very simple. And if you have very particular needs when it comes to social media, then try to be specific and look up someone who is a freelancer for social media. You don't have to just look up a regular virtual assistant, although they can cover a lot of these tasks for you. Data entry, basic web research, scheduling appointments, and even cold calling and making telemarketing calls. So all of these things you can outsource to a virtual assistant to help you with. And that's going to save you a lot of time and energy. I'm sure just by looking at this list, you can cross off a few hours out of your day every single day, and just add that up at the end of the week. You've probably gained at least a whole day, and you've probably saved that in time, right? So imagine what you can do with a whole extra day per week that you don't have to be doing these menial tasks for your business. It's going to help you feel happier. It's going to allow you to spend more time with your friends, your family, and get more personal things done. So, with that all being said, here are some shortcuts or hacks to getting the most out of your virtual assistant. Because again, while they're there to help you, you still have to lead them so that you're able to get the most service and the best service out of them. So first of all, interview them before you ever decide to hire someone, whether that be over Skype, whether it be over just a chat or over the phone. Make sure that you get a chance to talk to them, let them know what your expectations are, and see if they're a good fit for you. Of course, being timely and organized is important for both you and them. I think that just goes without saying. If you are a boss, that's just a necessity to have. Also, clear communication and clear instructions are absolutely key as well. Creating systems and a document with all the tasks for them to follow. So almost like maybe you have a CRM, go ahead and add them as a user to the CRM so that you can create tasks and projects for them. And then there's a way for you to be able to communicate any inside information. Maybe they'll be working with clients. Maybe they'll be doing some management for your clients, and they need to know about those projects, or they have to have some key information about the client. That would be one way to go about it. Another way is you can use Google Docs, where you can create a shared document or a file so that both you and them can see it together, and you have a centralized place for them to see all the tasks that they need to complete and be able to follow through on. And that's just taking an extra step and not relying on them to keep track of everything, because at the end of the day, they're only going to be seeing this as a one-time job or a part-time thing. A lot of virtual assistants, especially if you're not hiring them on for, full time, then that's how they're going to be treating you, as if it's just another part-time gig and just a small little project. So if you want them to do things correctly and meet your expectations, you need to plan ahead and create systems in place so that it will help keep everything very streamlined and organized for them, and that they don't have to keep track of that all on their own. Again, be clear on your priorities and your expectations so that everyone can do a better job and know, are they a good fit for this? Are they not a good fit for this? Do they have the skills necessary to take on what's needed? And are they clear on what needs to be done first and the priorities that you have? And of course, you want to encourage and reward proactive behavior. So maybe someone is managing your social media and they went ahead and they created some extra social posts for you to get more engagement. That would be awesome. And you'd want to leave them a tip or something that rewards that proactive behavior for taking the initiative and the extra step for doing that. And those are the kinds of people that you want to hire time and time again, because they've obviously shown that they care about your business and they want to do a good job for you. So go ahead and reward that. And finally, make them a part of your team and coach them as you go. I know a lot of people, they will treat VAs just like, oh, this is a one-time thing. But it's a lot better if you can find one VA or a couple VAs that work really well with you and with your company and do a really great job, and then you can just keep hiring them again and again and again, and maybe you actually make them a full-time employee so that they can take all of these menial tasks away from you and they can take them and they can do it for you. And that's why you want to include them, make them feel like they're a part of your team, because that is going to help them do a better job. I guarantee it. And when I say coach them, I mean, as time goes on and you're working together more and more, offer them, little bits of training here and there, or, offer to sit down with them at the end of the month and go over things together and say, I've really appreciated you doing this. I would love it if you would be able to also learn more about XYZ, and maybe point them into a few places where they can get some extra training for that. Udemy is an awesome place to get trained on tasks that maybe you don't know a lot about, but you want to learn more about. I mean, Udemy has so many different types of courses, especially when it comes to online marketing and online tasks. You could just simply send them to a Udemy course, have them watch over it, learn some things, and then now they are ready to go and take on the next task for you. So before we end this slideshow, I just want to stop here and have you take in everything that we've talked about already, because this next point is super important and I want you to remember it. And that is, as much as you need a strong personality to build a business from scratch, you also need to understand the art of delegation. I have to be good at helping people run individual businesses, and I have to be willing to step back. The company must be set up so that it continue to run without me. And that is, if you don't know who Richard Branson is, he is the guy that founded Virgin Mobile. So he is a millionaire, probably a billionaire by this point. And so he knows a thing or two about delegating. And he also knows a thing or two about starting businesses and being an absentee owner, which I think is, at the end of the day, is what we all really want. We want to be able to build businesses that can run without us being there every second of every day, because that's just not efficient. Like we mentioned before early in this course, there's no way that you can do all the tasks that it requires to run a business and become a millionaire. It's just not going to happen. So you have to learn the art of delegation. And the part of that, again, is clear communication, clear expectations, and hiring the right people for the task. And as we go back into the Fiverr mindset, I want you to think about ways that you can use delegation in your own business and outsourcing. So perhaps there are some things right now inside of your business that are holding you back. Maybe there are some things that are taking a lot of time that don't need to be. Are you doing data entry work? Are you doing, answering a ton of emails every day? Like, are you spending hours on those little menial tasks? Are you getting locked up with having to answer and return phone calls? Like, these are things that a business owner should not be bothered with. These are things that any good virtual assistant can do for you and should be doing for you. And the quicker that you can begin to delegate and outsource tasks like that, not your expertise, but other tasks within your business that your business needs to run, the quicker that you can delegate those things and find good people to help you, the faster you're going to be at growing your business. And the quicker you're going to build a very profitable business. So I just want you to keep that in mind. I know that a lot of you right now may be asking, well, Sasha, I'm just trying to get started as a freelancer on Fiverr. How can this outsourcing really help me? Again, you can outsource that gig picture, that the video. You can even outsource someone to create your gig description for you if you wanted to. I don't recommend that because only you know what you provide, right, inside of your gig. So you probably want to be the one to do that. But you can also outsource even some of your services. So what I mean by that is, let's say that you wanted to offer press releases or you wanted to offer article writing. It could be anything. But those are two great things where you can look on Fiverr for other service providers who are offering those services, have a lot of great reviews, so you know they're offering quality service, right? And you can actually begin to outsource some of your services to them to fulfill on. And I'm going to actually break that down. I call that Fiverr arbitrage. And I'm going to break that down inside the next video. And we're going to be talking all about how you can do that, how you can actually run your gigs from Fiverr, but not actually have to be the one to deliver the services. So stick with me in the next video. We're going to cover everything about that, everything that you need to run your own Fiverr arbitrage business. And you'll see how easy it can be to begin outsourcing these tasks, not only for your business off Fiverr, but also on Fiverr as well. So stick with me in the next video.